Hey, what's up everybody? My name's Ellis, and in this video I'm going to show you some of my tips and tricks that I use to tune my drums. And I'm also going to show you my specific drum head selection that I use on my drums when I'm playing for Stone worship. Now we're going to tune the 14-inch hanging floor tom. And again, you'll notice I have a DSS mount, drum suspension system. And so I just am a firm believer in using these things because I have heard the difference. And so that drum with a year-old head still sounds amazing. Sounds really good. I'm very happy with that. But it's been a year, so I'm going to change my drum head. And again, this one is just going to be the Emperor Vintage Coated. The Emperor is a 2-ply drum head. The Ambassador is a 1-ply drum head. Take this thing off. We're going to do some just light maintenance. And this one gets more dust than my hanging rack tom because this one is getting lots of sawdust from my snare drum. So we clean that one out. And actually this drum head, 7516, this bottom drum head is about 1.5 years old right now. And this is the Evans Resonant Glass. So we got our Emperor Vintage Coated. We're going to put that on. The floor tom hangs on my right side. We're going to put the DSS over here to where if it's hanging on my right side, the logo is still facing the audience. If you have a 16-inch floor tom, you probably don't want to hang it with DSS. You run the possibility of it falling over really easily. So what I would recommend in that situation, if you have a 16-inch floor tom, Pearl makes these incredible little like air ride tom feet. You can get the full leg from them if you want to, or you can just go and find online the rubber feet, and they have a hole cut out so that kind of just resonates freely. I've used those on 16-inch floor toms and they sound really good. That would be my recommendation for 16-inch floor toms. On each tension rod, you're going to go finger tight, and I'm just pressing down a little bit and using my finger to tighten. Hence the name finger tight. You know, once you get them tight, you can go back around to all of them, make sure they're still tight, because as you tighten the one opposite of it or next to it, the one across or next to it becomes loose, just because you're tightening the whole overall drum head down. It's finger tight right now, but we're gonna go ahead and give it a listen. It sounds cool, but it sounds too flabby, too low of a note. So we're going to tap tune and bring it all up to the highest pitch on the drum. And then use your hand to kind of feel around. I know that this area looks like it's flabby. Then we're going to crack the glue, and then we're going to listen. Okay, still a little bit too low pitch. I mean, it sounds like a cannon, sounds really cool. Just a little bit too flabby for my liking. And then seat the drum head. Okay, so top drum head sounds really good. I've tried to get it to get some of that flabbiness out, and it's not doing it exactly the way I want it to, so I'm flipping it over to see if the problem might be in the bottom head. The bottom head doesn't appear to have any flabbiness. You can just feel it and it's good. However, I did just notice that I'm missing a tension rod right there. So it fell out somewhere. It's long gone because it's not in the case. So I need to go get some replacement tension rods because that can actually dramatically affect how your drum is tuned. So I might just try to tune the ones next to it up a little bit. Okay, so I just tuned up the bottom head a little bit to see if I can get rid of that flabby sound. Woo! Sounds really good. Okay, now we do have a weird overtone that I'm going to try to get rid of, but the thing that we might end up doing is using some gaff tape on it, because you'll notice that my old drum head had just a little bit of gaff tape on it to get rid of that weird overtone. And so I will put a strip of gaff tape just because I know that my sound engineer, even though that sounds incredible, it has a lot of sustain right now. And we're going to want to cut a little bit of that to help the mix out. So I just make a little tape tent and put it on the edge and also kind of let it make contact with your rim. That'll help kind of like attach it to a piece of the drum that's not moving. And I'm actually going to put a tiny, tiny piece on the resonant head. Actually, I'm going to put it next to the lug that is missing the tension rod. All right. I still hear that tiny little pitch warble. Sometimes what you'll find is that one lug sounds much lower or higher, but in reality, when you go to tune it, it might be tighter or it might be looser. So what happened just then is this one has a low pitch, this one has a high pitch, this one is much looser, but this one's like tuned super tight. It's just finding that balance. All right, let's see what this does. Yeah, that is what I'm looking for. Sounds huge. And it's not warbling on the pitch. So that is exactly what I'm looking for. And let's just hear these tones. Top drum tone, bottom drum tone. We're going to mark it with our date, 5/9/18. All right, that's how you tune a 14-inch hanging floor tom.